there, it's your girl Yolanda Yo Win Winston with another episode of Yo Knows, and today we have Mr. Doug McCullough. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure, thank you. I'm excited to do this.
Yes. So give us a little introduction about, what you do, your specialties and all that stuff.
Well, that story begins about 40-something years ago when I first got into the real estate business, and I finally transitioned.
Wait, 40 years in real estate?
Since late 70s.
I feel young.
Well, I do too most of the time, except Monday through Sunday. I do, but it's been a wonderful experience. And I started out in residential, so I kind of understand that part of the market.
I didn't know that.
I did. I spent a number of years with in the residential arena. Then I got interested in home building, so I became a home builder.
Okay.
And then transitioned from there into, for a number of reasons. Most of them followed by a dollar sign, that I moved over from construction to commercial real estate. Actually, May 9th at 9:30 in the morning, 1987.
Wow.
And I can remember that specifically. I literally turned over the keys to my backhoe to a Ford crane, Ford tractor, because that was I said, okay, I've got to get out of the construction business. And I got in the commercial real estate and have never looked back since. It's been an incredible journey. And I am at a point in my life and my career where I see a lot of younger people getting into the business. And it's interesting to just kind of help them out as best I can. But I love doing the deal. I would say the art of the deal, but Donald Trump already has that tag. So I'll piggyback off of that. But I love doing deals and I love solving clients' problems.
Okay. That's amazing. And we appreciate you as the younger agents, the rookie agents. We appreciate you and your dedication to education and always encouraging and inspiring us to stay connected and to get educated.
Absolutely. And it's been my real pleasure to do that. There's a lot of self-gratification that comes from doing that. And I get that same feeling of gratification by helping to solve a client's problems. So first we try to, may I go ahead and start?
Yes.
So first we try to truly understand and see the world behind the client's eyes and figure out what problems are they trying to solve. And then we will come up with a creative real estate solution, hopefully, that'll help them get there. And it's not always the same. But I think one key component to that my mentor taught me was listening to that client. And he always told me to make sure your client felt safe in your cubby, because they have a lot of people they can go talk to.
Yes.
And I want to try to do what I can so they see that I really have their interest at heart. We make commissions, as everybody knows, but that's not the driving force behind doing what we do, I think. The ability and the willingness to go out and help become that safe place for that client. And the commission is a very nice byproduct. I mean, money is good. It's just like oxygen. It's way up there and very important, but it's not the driving thing that we need to be, because I think the agents that I've seen that they're in it for the commission, that shows up as dollar signs in the client's eyes. They can hear that loud and clear.
Yeah, they don't want a transactional agent. They want a relationship.
And because of that, I was blessed with my friend David Blanchard, who has since retired. I've had clients that have been with me for over 20 years, 25 years, and they just continue it every 4 or 5 years. They either add to their portfolio or sell off their portfolio, or something's happening, but they're constantly calling back, which is great.
It is, yeah.
Because now I don't spend a lot of time having to go out and drum up business. I just react to the business that has come as a result of trying to take care of people's problems.
Exactly, yes. I love that. So when we talk about solving problems and creating a plan, this holistic approach to solving the problem, not just somebody might call you and say, I want to purchase a property. And it sounds like you say, well, hold on, let me get a complete understanding of what your goals are, for this property.
Right. One of our peers, Nick DeMarte, has a class that he actually teaches the art of peeling that onion back and trying to figure out what the true objective is. It's pretty clear when I'm talking to a CFO of a corporate office that says, I need 10,000 square feet of space over in Cummings Research Park. Then that's kind of a check the boxes and we can kind of help solve that. But if I have an individual that says, Doug, I have property that we want to sell, and it's a $3 million property. Can you help me do that? I do want to peel back that onion and find out, well, tell me what it is you're going to do with that money. He may be saying, I'm going to build a trust for my children, or I want to create cash flow, or I want to pay this debt off, or whatever their reasons for doing that. That helps me structure a transaction that will help them accomplish that at the greatest magnitude that we could. I mean, we can always sell the property and close and everything goes off. But if I can help them maximize that opportunity to increase the return for them, that's what I enjoy doing.
And get the right players in place at the right time to help make that decision. It's not, and then that's what I've been talking about a lot lately, is not, for me, it's not just, I'm not the only person that's serving you. I have a whole team of people that's going to help us put together a strategic and holistic plan, like you said, to reach that ultimate goal of, and you hit on something that we talked about a few days ago, the difference in between helping a commercial client that will be an end user versus helping a commercial client that's an investor and they want a income generating property.
Right. So a lot of times when I have a client that's looking for an income stream that they're wanting to purchase, they may not even know what kind of a return, depends on their level of sophistication, but they may not even know, I want to buy this and I want it to generate this much income. They know that, but they may not think about, well, what is that? How does that compare to, if I just put that money in a treasury bill, what am I going to make there? And that's zero risk. So if you're going to take on some risk, then you need to make a little bit better than that, and we can help them understand those differences and then to maximize that return. And those returns can be maximized on how you structure the transaction.
Right, yeah.
There are some opportunities that I have seen where on the reverse side of that, a seller wants to sell their property, but they're going to leave the building empty, and so these investors won't look at it because they think there's no income stream for purchase.
Exactly, yeah.
So we've talked to many sellers about the concept that we call a sale leaseback, or at least a master lease, where you can go in and mitigate some of that risk that the investor is going to build into their underwriting and let them master lease it for a year or so. You have to bake those costs into the sales price.
Oh, okay.
But that means, so if you had a $7 million building that would sell normally, but it's now going to be vacant, it's going to cost you $350,000 a year to rent that out, then maybe you sell it for $7,350,000 if the market would support that.
Okay.
They take that $350,000 and enter into a lease. We now have an investor that says, you're not buying an empty building, my owner is going to lease it for you while we have, that gives us a 1-year runway to find a solid tenant for 3 to 5 years that will take them out of it.
I mean, and it just hits home even more the importance of maintaining a relationship with the commercial advisor. So before you make that final decision to close the business down, we can advise you, no, don't do that. Don't do that. It's more profitable this way. So, it's always about, I keep talking about gaining and maintaining that relationship with the agent. And I guess also putting that responsibility on the agent to gain and retain the relationship with our clients.
That's
so that they know to contact us and to keep us in the loop before they make these decisions. We should be a part of that decision.
I agree with you completely, and I'm going to say this unsolicited compliment to you about how you approach what you do here, and I know that will translate into the level of service and attention that you give to your clients. Because you and I are we're friendly competitors, but we're sometimes chasing after the same rabbit, but you're going to bring to that table some solutions that somebody else may not have even thought about.
Yeah.
So depending on your experience level and your history and what you've done educationally to kind of promote, the level of skill sets that you can kind of bring to the table, then you'll draw on all of those sort of things. And again, if what you do is reflected in how you do this part of your business, if I was an investor client and wasn't my own broker, I'd be coming to you.
I appreciate it. Like, that's my thing is, hey, I can market it. I'll get it sold. We will market that property. And that's what I've learned or realized that I enjoy a lot, is going into a property and figuring out how to repurpose it. Because now I can market it to more people, and it's not just so narrow-minded.
Well, and again, I'm going to say something I heard on one of your previous podcasts. that I did not realize the depth of their background that you come from.
Oh.
So I mean, you bring to the table a lot of experience in a lot of very high valued areas. I think you were an auditor
Yes.
at one time. I remember.
Yes.
So the financial aspect of the transaction and understanding that at a very forensic level I could see that being incredibly valuable to your clients.
Thank you, thank you. That I've been connecting with, CSSI and, making sure we get some tax strategies and things like that
Yeah.
in line so that people know, like I said, it's about a team and that advisor. And I want to be my client's partner. I don't want to sell you a piece
Yeah.
of real estate. I want to be a partner in this journey with you,
You mentioned
SSI.
CSSI, the cost segregation guys, Greg Perkins and his team. See, that also tells me you're associating with people that are top of their game in those specialized fields. And if you couple all of that with your history and your background and bring that to the table to a client, you can outgun most of the people out here with a real estate license, I think, because most of them are transaction oriented, and you're bringing a level of depth that they don't have.
That they don't have. I appreciate it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
Heck
Thank
yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
So let's get into the numbers because, as you said, I'm a little bit of a numbers nerd. And that's why I enjoy commercial real estate like you. I started off in residential, kind of getting my feet wet, understanding real estate, learning the key players here in Huntsville. But now it's time for me to get my expensive pen. It's time for me to start my CCIM training.
Yes.
So when we talk about how to help our clients evaluate if this is the proper technique, strategy, property for them, we get into numbers, cap rates, and internal rate of return. Can you talk about the difference in between those two?
Well, I'll give you my personal perspective. So I don't claim this to be true or accurate, but the way I view it is a cap rate is really a measure of value as if you took a picture.
Okay.
So that split second in time, that's what that property
On
is
that
worth.
day,
Yes.
this is what the property's worth.
Now tomorrow, if the building goes vacant, or tomorrow your taxes escalate, or if you have a variable rate mortgage and your interest rate increases, then that snapshot is no longer valid. You have to
Gotcha.
take a new snapshot for those new variables that
Gotcha.
changed. So I prefer looking at the internal rate of return, which, by the way, you mentioned the PIN, so the CCIM will help teach all of these methodologies to us. So I look at what does it cost to get into the game, what does it cost to maintain that for a period of time, typically 5 years, and then what does it cost to get out of the game?
Okay.
So all the ebbs and flows of the income
Yeah.
stream, the vacancies, the operating
I love
expenses.
it. The exit strategy. People
Yes.
don't think about the exit strategy. That's
Yeah.
important to think about when you're buying the property, not when it's time to sell it.
Well, Charlie Grillier at my office, he always talks about you make your money the day you buy.
Oh.
But you buy it right, that's where your profit
I've
is
heard
made.
that, yeah.
And so if you take that same concept and lead your clients into that, so you can help them if it's a 10 cap property, they don't need to be spending an 8 cap money to buy that.
Okay.
So they need to make sure that you can structure a transaction so that they're making their profit day one, and then help them maintain it, and then when they sell it at some point in the future, then it all kind of makes sense.
Right, okay.
And you can measure that with the internal rate of return
Okay.
over that long period of time. So that takes into account all the fluctuations throughout that 5 to 10 year holding period.
Okay. And then we talked a little bit about actual pro forma, and no,
In play.
actual and pro forma. I can never say it.
I refer to that actual as the in-place income. So we've already got a tenant in there, and it's currently generating income. So that's in-place income. If it's vacant, then we have to look into a crystal ball
Gotcha.
and create a fictitious market-driven pro forma income.
Pro forma.
I really don't know of any investor that's ever purchased a property on the pro forma income, because you don't know that that's going to happen.
It's imaginary.
And that's all you have to go by, then you've got to calculate, well, what kind of risk is associated? What if I don't hit that targeted income stream? How long is it going to take me to get there? And what is that going to cost me during that holding period? Or if you buy a multi-tenant shopping center and it has 15 tenants, that tenant is going to be vacant in 3 months. How long is it going to take me to fill up that slot? Will it be 9 to 12 months? And what is that holding period? And on a lot of commercial properties, the tenants pay their pro rata share of the operating expenses. Well, if that's vacant, that means the owner
every-
now has to absorb that cost as
Oh,
well.
wow.
So not only is the loss of opportunity and income, but now you've added expenses here that was normally recaptured from the tenant.
I didn't think about that part.
So you calculate all that in, and then you figure some level of risk, and you can discount what you would be willing to buy it on a pro forma based on those risk factors that you've tried to look into the future to predict.
Wow, wow, wow. So, well, like, if we get a client and they need help understanding the difference between, like, what would be your advice to an advisor, an agent like me?
Really, this is going to sound like a commercial, but the first advice is going to be you need to get your CCIM designation.
Doug does not play about every opportunity you get to tell me, you take it. And I listen, and I know that they're having an online course in January.
Yes.
But it's just so funny that no matter what, as soon as somebody
That's
talks
the
about
answer.
education, that is always your answer. But it's a good answer, you know.
And the reason is it gives you the tools and the resources to see. My first class, they said if all you have in your toolbox is a hammer, all your problems look like nails. So with CCIM, you have a broad spectrum of tools. So now when your client comes to you and says, I need to do this or this, you can look at that from a multitude of solutions and pull out the appropriate tool to take care of that. CCIM equips you with those kind of tools.
Okay.
So what we would do is look at an opportunity and talk to the client, find out what their objective is. We figure out then what is the highest and best strategy to deploy to help them get there. And then what's our backup plan? What does that look like? I've had owners that said, Doug, we want to sell this vacant lot. What should we sell it for? And on a pro forma level, we might say, okay, the highest and best use here based on our market intelligence is we need to put a hotel there.
Right.
If we do that, here's what that property could generate.
Right,
Or
right.
maybe it's a convenience store.
Yeah, I was
or
thinking
maybe it's
that,
a
yeah.
shopping center or an office building, who knows what.
Okay.
But the CCIM tools will enable you to look at something like that and make an evaluation that makes some sense for everybody. So your client's going to look at that and go, wow, okay, hadn't thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. Let's go down that path.
Okay. I love the analogy of if you only have a hammer in your tool belt, every problem looks like a nail.
Yes.
I don't think I'm going to be able to forget that. That's one that just makes so much sense.
And unfortunately, the limitation there is when people don't widen their horizon on developing new skills, they approach everything as if it is a nail, and that may not be the solution. And so
Right.
that client goes, hey, thanks, Doug, or thanks, Yolanda, but I'm going to go over here because they have a different solution for me. That makes more sense.
That makes, oh, wow. Okay. All right. So any other pointers that you would like to give investors on creating that strategy?
Well, I guess the best pointer that I could give would to connect with a professional that you feel like has the ability to help peel that onion back and help you maybe see your problem not as a nail but as the multitude of other things to help you create other solutions. A lot of people may say, I want to sell this property for this reason, and they don't realize there are other reasons that might be actually more productive.
Gotcha.
So that would be the first thing, is find an advisor that can look at things from a multitude of perspectives. And then once you align from the advisor, I would suggest that person do everything they can to maintain the trust level and the reliability that they need to instill into that client so the client feels safe in their covey.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I always take away a pocket full of nuggets when I'm talking to you. I know you don't always want us to.
Oh, I don't mind at all. I love it. I actually love it.
Thank you. I appreciate your time and just your dedication to commercial real estate here in Huntsville.
Absolutely.
And to the rookie agents. We really appreciate you, Doug.
Oh, thank you. And I'm honored to be associated with all of the rookies. I have to put a little plug in my friend Bagasha. She's done a great job setting that program up
Yes.
for the rookies in Nowcom, and Eric Gonzalez.
Yeah, Nowcom is an amazing organization. So I love Nowcom. It is like if you want to know commercial real estate, you want to network with commercial real estate agents in the Huntsville area. You only have one option, and that's us.
That's right. That's right. And this is probably going to be one of the future presidents of Nowcom. I made my bet here in the next couple of years.
Okay, no pressure.
All right.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you watching. And if you have any questions about investment, real estate, purchasing real estate for your business, please leave a comment, and Doug and I will love to do another video and answer those for you. So
Absolutely.
we appreciate it, and we'll see you in the streets.